Her story was sealed behind a wall of national security, and she was on the wrong side of it. The committee members on the stage looked down at her with cold professional detachment, ready to pass judgment. A retired, high-ranking officer, a man known for his rigid adherence to tradition, stood up from the front row. His voice boomed across the silent hall, heavy with righteous indignation. "Major Carter," he began, his eyes locking onto hers. "Those medals you wear represent blood, sacrifice, and the ultimate courage. And if you didn't earn them with your own sweat and fear, you insult every single soldier, living and dead, who did." The crowd murmured in agreement. Phones were held high, recording her public disgrace. The air was thick with tension. Her career, her reputation, her entire life's work was just seconds away from being obliterated. The lead committee member cleared his throat, ready to deliver the final verdict. It was then that Evelyn finally spoke. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried a weight that silenced the room instantly. "I earned them," she said, her tone even, "but the men who can prove it, they never came home." A chilling silence followed her words. For a moment, there was nothing but the hum of the air conditioning. Then, a single, cruel laugh broke the spell. It was quickly followed by others. "Stories!" someone shouted from the back. "Where's your proof?" A convenient excuse when there are no witnesses. The room, which had been on the verge of contemplation, now turned back to mockery. They saw her statement not as a tragic truth, but as a desperate, last-ditch lie. Her hands began to shake. It wasn't from fear, but from the sudden, overwhelming rush of memory. The laughter, the disbelief, all faded away, replaced by the deafening roar of the past. She saw it all again, the pitch black of a night raid, the blinding flash of explosions, the twisted, burning metal of a convoy. She heard the screams of a man calling for help, a sound that had haunted her dreams for years. The weight of it all pressed down on her. The faces of the fallen, the friends she couldn't save, flashed before her eyes. These were the ghosts she carried, the silent witnesses to her valor. The medals weren't just metal. They were tombstones she wore on her chest. She lowered her eyes, her resolve finally cracking. Let them think what they want. Let them take the medals. Donna wasn't in the shiny decorations, but in the memories she protected. If the truth must stay buried, she whispered, more to herself than to anyone else, then let it and that. As when the grand double doors at the back of the auditorium swung open with authoritative force. Two Secret Service agents, stone-faced and imposing, walked in first, scanning the room with practiced efficiency. The whispers and murmurs died instantly. Then, he walked in. The President of the United States. A wave of shock rippled through the hall, scraped against the floor as everyone, from the highest-ranking general to the most junior reporter, scrambled to their feet. The President didn't look at the crowd. He didn't acknowledge the stunned committee on the stage. His eyes were fixed on one person. He walked with purpose, his steps echoing in the nonchalant room, straight toward Major Evelyn Carter. He stopped directly in front of her, so close they could have been the only two people there. For a long moment, he just looked at her, a silent message passing between them. Then, he slowly turned to face the dumbfounded audience. His voice was calm, yet it held an undeniable power that commanded absolute attention. "You're asking for proof?" he asked, his gaze sweeping over the crowd and the committee. He raised his hand and pointed directly at the highest medal on Evelyn's chest, the Distinguished Service Cross. "I am alive," the President declared, his voice ringing with conviction. "Because of that woman." Gasps exploded throughout the room. Phones that were recording her humiliation now captured a moment of unbelievable vindication. The retired officer, who had so loudly accused her, looked as if he'd been struck. The President wasn't finished. He began to tell a story the world had never heard. Years earlier, before his political career had taken him to the White House, he was on a diplomatic mission overseas. His convoy was ambushed in a remote, hostile territory. They were trapped, surrounded, with communications cut and no air support available. It was a death trap. Official orders were to hold position and wait for a rescue that wasn't coming, the President explained, his voice tight with the memory. "We're taking heavy fire. We had multiple casualties." He paused, and then looked back at Evelyn. Major Carter, then a captain, was leading a small reconnaissance team nearby. She heard our distress call. She was ordered not to engage. She was ordered to stand down. He let that sink in. Major Carter ignored those orders, he said, a note of profound respect in his voice. She and her team ran directly into the line of fire. Chu personally pulled 3 wounded men from a burning vehicle under a hail of bullets. The president's eyes welled up slightly. One of them was me. The room was utterly still, every person hanging on his every word. Those medals, he continued, gesturing again to her uniform, were awarded in a classified ceremony. Her entire file was sealed. That mission never officially happened. It was deemed too politically sensitive, revealing it would have created an international crisis. So Major Carter and her team were sworn to secrecy. They were heroes destined to be ghosts, their bravery erased from the official records to protect a fragile peace. The truth, now revealed, was more stunning than any fiction. The silence in the room was no longer one of judgment, but of deep, profound awe. The same officer who had accused her of disgracing the uniform now looked at the floor, his face a mixture of shame and disbelief. He slowly, deliberately, lowered his head in a sign of deep respect. The crowd, which had been standing out of protocol, now seemed to stand taller, their posture shifting from formality to genuine reverence. A single person began to clap, then another and another, until the entire auditorium erupted in thunderous applause. The president turned back to Evelyn. He didn't offer a handshake. He raised his hand to his brow and gave her a sharp, perfect salute, the commander-in-chief, honoring one of his finest soldiers. Inspired by his gesture, every person in uniform in that room followed suit. One by one, hands went up in a wave of salutes, a silent, powerful apology and a testament to her restored honor. But Evelyn didn't smile. The applause, the salutes, the vindication, it wasn't what she had ever wanted. As the president stood beside her, she whispered, so low that only he could hear, "I never needed applause. I just wanted the dead to be remembered. Heroes don't always fight for recognition. Sometimes, they fight just so others can live, carrying the weight of their deeds in silence. Their reward isn't a medal, but the quiet knowledge that they stood their ground when it mattered most." If you believe real heroes deserve our respect, subscribe to the channel for more stories that matter. Like this video and comment below if her story moved you. And please, share it, so that Major Carter's sacrifice is never questioned again. Thank you for watching.